Business News. Yuka Roy joins me here in the studio. Hello to you, Yuka.
Hi, Rochelle.
We're starting off with this bitter dispute between France and the US. All of this over a digital tax that is targeting the big tech companies.
Big tech companies like Facebook and Google. Now, France's Economy Minister Bruno Le Maire has called on Washington to sign up to an international tax proposal drawn up by the OECD and to lift a threat of tariffs on French champagne, cheese and luxury products in retaliation to France's new 3% tax on tech giants introduced last year. Le Maire is set to discuss the issue with the US Treasury Secretary at next week's World Economic Forum in Davos. Fraser Jackson has more details.
Back a global tax plan on tech giants or risk countries implementing their own rules. The French government is hoping to escape the focus of the US by showing an international front towards revenue earned by top digital companies.
If the US targets France, it won't solve the basic problem, which is there must be an international taxation of digital giants and there will be a spreading of national taxes across the globe. What will they do then? Go after Austria, Spain, Italy, the United Kingdom?
The GAFA tax, so-called because it focuses on taxing digital high earners such as Google, Apple, Facebook and Amazon, has become a sticking point for Franco-American relations in recent months. Last year, France applied a 3% levy on tech giants earning more than 25 million euros in the country and 750 million euros worldwide.
We want to tax American companies, Phil. That's important. We want to tax them. That's not for somebody else to tax.
US President Donald Trump said the tax unfairly targets American companies and in retaliation threatened tariffs on French goods worth $2.4 billion, including champagne, makeup and handbags. The OECD's proposal would see tax revenue from big companies shared between the countries in which those firms operate and in which they are based. Trump wants any proposal to be optional for US companies, something France and the OECD have called a non-starter. And the potential revenue distribution could be huge. Google, Apple, Facebook and Amazon frequently top the list of most valuable companies. This week, Google's parent company Alphabet became the fifth company in history to surpass a $1 trillion market valuation.
Well, speaking of trade, the European Union's ambassador to China has warned that the bloc would challenge the new US-China trade deal at the World Trade Organization if it creates distortions in the market and put European companies at a disadvantage. Stressing that Beijing officials reassured him the new trade deal would not harm EU businesses, Ambassador Nicolas Chapuis voiced concern over certain provisions in the new agreement. Under the Phase 1 deal signed this week, China agreed to import an additional $200 billion worth of US products over 2 years.
Quantitative targets are, in our opinion, non-WTO compatible if they lead to trade distortion. If it were to be the case, then we will go to WTO to settle this matter.
Meanwhile, here in France, the transport strike and nationwide protests against the government's pension reform plans have entered their 7th week. Blockades at major ports have disrupted sea freight services, causing supply shortages at supermarkets and grocery stores in France's overseas territories and Corsica. Meanwhile, shares of some of the country's biggest retailers sank this Friday. Casino and Fnac Darty finished the week in the red after issuing profit warnings, partly because of the ongoing strike affecting sales. Let's check in on the day's trading action, and shares on Wall Street are edging higher this Friday following the latest economic data from China, which showed that its economic growth last year was the slowest in 3 decades, but still better than expected. Banks and technology shares are also leading the gains. European shares closed the week at record high levels amid optimism over the resilience of China's economy. Some more of the day's business headlines for you now. The US government's road safety agency says it's looking into allegations that all 3 of Tesla's electric car models can suddenly accelerate on their own. The NHTSA's announcement comes after an anonymous petition asked the agency to investigate 500,000 Tesla cars, Model S, Model X and Model 3, following 127 complaints, including 110 crashes. Travelex, the London-based foreign currency exchange firm, says the first of its customer-facing systems in Britain is up and running again. more than 2 weeks after a cyber attack caused all its systems to shut down. The malware attack had forced Travelex staff to use pen and paper to calculate exchanges. The company operates in 70 countries. A court in Japan has ordered the suspension of a nuclear reactor in the west of the country over safety concerns as it lies near a seismic fault line. It's the latest legal setback for the Japanese government, which has been trying to bring idled nuclear plants back into service. All but a handful of Japan's 59 reactors have remained offline since the 2011 Fukushima disaster. Farmers around the world often call for fairer pricing. Some in China have taken matters into their own hands, using social media to cut out the middleman. A new online platform helps farmers live stream their products and sell their goods directly to consumers. Camille Nedelec has the story.
In China, producers can sell direct from their phones, all thanks to this sales team with a difference. They'll be extolling the virtues of these oranges to their customers via live stream.
Hello everybody, I want to show you these oranges. We're picking them in this field. They're fresh and juicy. See that juice? They're delicious. To order, click on the basket at the bottom of your screen.
Consumers like being able to trace the product from branch to kitchen, after China has been left reeling in recent years from several food-related scandals. For producers, this direct-to-consumer sales strategy means more profit and more sales, up 30% this year.
I'm a producer in Yongqi. Thanks to the direct sales made by these men in red, we sell them everywhere. It's changed our lives.
The concept is simple. Each salesperson has 1 or 2 phones connected to an online selling platform. Between the 4 of them, within less than 10 minutes, they'll manage to sell 500 crates of oranges. With the middleman cut out, the price for customers is slashed by as much as 2/3. So no surprise that many farmers are interested in attending training sessions like this one to learn how they too can adopt the technology. Live-streamed fruit markets are a huge revenue boost for producers, so the trend looks set to stay.
Well, let's finish with another high-tech related story. With air pollution causing 4.6 million deaths around the world each year, a Dutch startup has come up with a next-generation breathing mask. The company says its smart mask, which debuted at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, can detect pollutants and dust particles and give users real-time pollution alerts, and will eventually be able to choose the cleanest cycling or walking route to take. The firm hopes to make it commercial by the end of the year.
The first one we're targeting are gas pollutant sensors and also dust particulate sensors and connectivity with your cell phone. And our goal is one day to be able to deliver enough data to have a reliable pollution map. And when you want to go from A to B, you don't necessarily only go for the shortest or the fastest way, you always go for the less polluted way.
An amazing idea. It doesn't look that high-tech, though, to be honest.
It looks like it could work. Let's wait and see over the next little while what happens with that. Yuka, thank you very much for the business roundup. All right, stay with us here on France 24. We're going to take a quick break on Live from Paris. We'll be back on the other side. Plenty more news and world headlines for you. You're watching France 24.